Hello, and welcome to today's Wellness webinar. My name is Shane Drossi, and I am the Wellness Coordinator for the National Alliance on Mental Illness in San Diego. I have the privilege of working on a team of inspiring individuals who devote themselves to empowering their community with cutting-edge technology, apps, training classes, and wellness resources. Our project is funded by the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency through the Mental Health Services Act. Our goal is the creation and expansion of opportunities for uses of technology and strategies which support culturally competent recovery and resilience. The services are provided to existing consumers and family members of consumers of the behavioral health services system. The project was aligned under the MHSA Capital Facilities and Technological Needs Plan and is called the Consumer and Family Empowerment Technology Project, also known as NAMI San Diego Tech Cafe. Thank you for joining me today. Before we begin the Wellness webinar on family and youth partners, I'd like to point out a few housekeeping tips for you all. You will notice in the upper right-hand corner of your YouTube screen, there's an eye with a circle. If you click on that, it will give you the opportunity to engage in a short poll. There's a link to go directly to the Tech Cafe website. In addition, if you'd like, you can donate directly to NAMI San Diego through that as well. If you haven't done so already, we'd love to engage with you on social media. You can tweet us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Instagram at NAMI San Diego. Today's Family and Youth Partner interview will be surrounding what the CYF Liaison does here at NAMI San Diego. Some of the resources we'll be covering is their website, which is cyfliaison.namisandiego.org. We will touch briefly upon the Children, Youth, and Family System of Care. You can access their entire suite of resources at the website listed below. And finally, you can always call us at the NAMI San Diego Family and Peer Support Helpline Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 o'clock at 1-800-523-5933. And without further ado, I hope you enjoyed today's interview with NAMI San Diego's Family and Peer Support Specialist, Linda Ketterer. All right. Hello, Linda. How are you today?
I'm great. How about you, Shane?
I am very well, thank you. So to begin, would you tell me a little bit about yourself and your background?
Absolutely. So I am a proud mother of 3 beautiful children. Actually, they're 3 beautiful adults. I just married off my baby last Friday.
Congratulations.
I know, right? And life was not always easy. So I came from a family of 7 children, and my father died a tragic death when I was in 2nd grade, and I'm the 6th of 7. And so my background comes from living in National City, which I love because it's a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. And so all my traditions and heritage comes from the Hispanic ladies. Once my father died and my mom had to go back to work as a single parent. And so life was not always easy back then. I remember the first day that I got labeled as a troubled child. It was in kindergarten, and the teacher wanted me to lay down and do some exercises, and I refused to because I knew that I had holes in the bottom of my shoes. But she didn't, right? So she labeled me difficult and didn't want to listen or participate in activities, and it was all because I had holes in the bottom of my shoes. So one thing led to another, and at the age of 13, I started using drugs. Now, it was kind of weird because none of my other brothers and sisters fell into that pathway, but I did. And so first it started with cigarettes, and then alcohol, and then weed, and then eventually anything that had to do with speed, which was white crosses back then, Christmas trees. Wow, I can't believe I'm remembering all the names of them. Anything that helped me to lose weight, because I was always a big girl. Food was scarce, so the minute you got it, you had to eat it, and it was just craziness all the way around. Sorry for that word. And so from the 9th grade to the high school, which is good, middle school to high school, I had lost 100 pounds because I was addicted to speed. And then that led to an addiction of crystal meth, which would have been all good and fine if I hadn't taken my children along on the ride with me. So I ended up having 3 children while I was addicted to drugs, and only by the grace of God are they amazing to this day, and they all broke the chain of addiction. So I used for 21 years. I now have 23 years clean and sober. I know, right?
Congratulations.
I went back to college. I got my teaching degree, multiple subject from preschool all the way to adult. And here I am today.
So what motivated you to break that chain and to go back to school and to quit drugs, and what was your motivation?
Oh, that's a great question. So I was done. I knew I was done. I just didn't know how to get out of it, right? And so I was praying to who knows who, because I didn't really know God at the time, but I was just praying for a way out. And I ended up going to jail. Now, most people would think that going to jail was a bad thing, but I think it was my way out. And I only had to go for a month, but losing my children for that month was pure torture. And I only cried because for 21 years of addiction, you don't feel anything. Now I feel everything. So these are tears of joy, even though it's a sad situation, but something so good came out of it. So that 1 month of losing my children really made me see that all I wanted was my babies and to be that mom.
Take a second. Okay, so let's transition into what led you into being a family partner. So, so can you define for me what a family youth partner is?
I would love to, because I never knew I was one. But from the minute I got clean and sober, from the minute I got resources to help me become clean and sober, that trend of becoming a family youth partner was evident, right? So a family youth partner is someone who uses their lived experience, which I have a ton of. I say I have a master's degree in life, to help engage and empower other people that are going through it at this time. Now, I would have never guessed that the death of my father probably put me into depression, right? And that depression led to every other step that I made. But I use this story now, Shane, to help empower other families that are going through it now. And so even though I had to go to jail, it's part of my story. And then even though after jail I had to go to probationers in recovery, that's part of my story. Even though child welfare services became involved, that had to take my children, that's part of my story. But here's my story. Child welfare services was one of the best things that ever happened for our family. And not many people say that, right? Child welfare services involved, they're going to keep my children. That's the farthest from the truth. The truth is that they want to keep your children safe, just like you want to. But they are going to give you the resources and the help and everything available to be able to do that, if you're willing to do the work. And so a family youth partner uses that lived experience to say, we got yourself in a predicament, what are you going to do about it? I was once there, this is what happened for me, and this is what helped. What would help for your family, right? So I told you I went back to school to get my teaching degree. I was trying for 5 years to get a classroom of my own. Who knows why I didn't? I don't know why, because I have a stack of letters saying how amazing I am. Just had to say that. But for one reason or another, I couldn't get a classroom of my own. And then a principal that I was working with said, try this program until more jobs become available. And so this was the PEI program, Prevention Early Intervention from San Diego Youth Services, which was a school-based program where I got to become a puppeteer. I always go like that because Dinah was right here all the time. And that was my beginning of recognizing that I was a family youth partner. I was called a promotora, which is same concept as family youth partner, but which came from Latin America. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your opinion, why is peer work important? Why is using your story and your background? Well, how does it help you relate to others, and why do you think that's important?
So, through my journey, I've had many people in my life. And there were people that came and said, I know exactly what you're going through. And I would say, oh, you lost your children? No. You're a recovering addict? No. How do you know what I'm going through, right? And these are counselors and therapists and things like that were trying to help. I get it, they were trying to help. But don't come say that you know what I'm going through if you never experienced it. And so I think the lived experience really helps families or anybody else that's going through something see that there's hope for the future. Because if you did it, why can't I? Right? And so that's why I think it's so important that we have recognition for these family youth partners, because telling your story over and over again is not always easy. I mean, you have to hash up all these old feelings and guilt and shame, but on the other hand, it also keeps you where you're at, because you see the impact that it has with those families. So even though it's difficult at sometimes sharing your story, once it's shared and you see the impact it might have on just that one person, it's all worth it. So that power appears, somebody that literally, honestly knows what it's like to go through it. I think it's amazing, just that connection.
Do you have an example of somebody that you've worked with that maybe wasn't able to utilize resources until they met you and they finally felt like somebody understood them? Do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, I would say from the PEI program, first of all, we're on a school-based, right? We're going to work side by side with mental health specialists. Now, the reason why they hired the promotoras, the family youth partners in the first place, is because we knew that school like the back of our hand. So I had been at this one school, I did my student teaching there, I had did substitute teaching there, I had did 1 year contract. So that school and all those kids and all those families knew me, right? Now we're going to pull in another concept. Hey, we're going to bring a mental health program here. Well, what are you trying to say? Most people would think, why do I need mental health services? I'm not crazy. That's what stigmas, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we're not saying that you're crazy, but this is a parenting support group that's really going to help empower your family. Now, if the mental health specialist, that program would have just came without the use of the family youth partners and the trust that had already been built there, I don't think the program would have been as successful. Now, I might be tooting my own horn, but I truly believe that we were the ones that helped engage those families by saying, you know what, this is an amazing program. It's not only going to help little Johnny sit still while he's in class, but at home he's going to have better behavior as well, because we're all on the same page using all the same language, right? The teachers, the yard staff, everybody on the campus, and then you at home. It was an amazing change that I saw in a lot of different families, because we helped them engage faster. Did that answer your question?
Definitely. So what is the benefit of working with others with lived mental health experience? You kind of touched on this already, but...
The benefits of working with others that have I think it's just that connection. I think that we all are equal, but we're all different, right? And then, but that connection of saying, you know, this is hard sometimes. Some days are better than others. And knowing that, and then being able to work around that or support somebody in that moment, I think that's amazing. I think if we all agree, right? I love, I don't know, bringing trauma-informed care, because trauma-informed care changed my life. I was in the PEI program, and then we had a trauma-informed training. Mm-hmm. And there was like 40, 50 people. And the man asked, the presenter asked for a volunteer. All you heard was cricket, Shane. And I'm like that person that's like, somebody volunteer, nobody volunteers. I raise my hand because I'm thinking, I'm good. I don't have any trauma in my life, right? And this is when I started recognizing the past versus the future, right? So the man, I said, I'll volunteer. I went up there and he said, thank you for volunteering. What happened to you as a child? And I was all like, nothing happened to me as a child. I'm good, right? And then he said, no, what happened to you as a child? And I was like, well, my father died. And my voice cracked in front of all these people. My voice cracked. My father died, right? And then it was like a film in my head that all these things were in place because of the death of my father. And then everything that happened after that, right? Now, trauma-informed care is just a way of looking at people through trauma-informed lenses. This is to say, something happened in your life to get you to where you're at today. And everybody's trauma is different. And your trauma to me might look this big, but my trauma to you might look this big, or vice versa, right? But it's how we look at people. Instead of saying, I wonder why do you act this way? I say, I wonder what happened to you to make you behave in this manner. And that trauma-informed lens alone, I think, helps me see people in a whole new light. Everybody I meet, I look through a trauma-informed lens. And I'm hoping that sharing my story, they'll look at me in the same way. Does that make sense?
Definitely. So at NAMI, you're an integral part of the Child, Youth, and Family Liaison. So what does the CYFL do?
I'm so excited you asked. So NAMI San Diego used to be predominantly all adults. Now the Children, Youth, and Family Liaison contract came to us in June, and now we work with children, youth, and families. And so what we offer are many, many, many things. We offer a family youth partner coaching meeting. This is to help engage families that have that lived experience, either become a family youth partner. Let me just say this. If I ask you what a family youth partner is, there's so many terms under this umbrella. Peer support, parent coach, parent partner, parent this, parent. This is all under this family youth partner. It's that lived experience that really brings us all together under that scope of work, right? That's the easiest way I can explain it, is that lived experience. So the family youth partner coaching meeting we have 1 hour of just sharing and talking and with each other and facilitating, and then 1 hour of coaching, which gives them an hour of training and education, so that we always want to become bigger and better. So, and then so there's that family youth partner coaching meeting. We have a families to families support group, and this is led and facilitated by a family with lived experience. And then the families that come in have that lived experience, and then a professional comes in, which is also a parent that has the lived experience, and then they get 1 hour of training as well. I love that. We have a family and youth focus group. And so the county of San Diego, the children's system of care, is literally asking us for information. What's out there working? What's out there not working? You want this information? Because if you want it, we're going to give it to you. So we have a lot of meetings just like talking and asking what's working out there, what's not working. I like to do both just because I like that balance. But they're asking literally what is not working out there so that we can make some changes within the children's system of care. So there's that focus group. And then we have family townhouse meetings. And this is just for families just to come, share their story, get the support they need, maybe find some resources. But the most important thing is to find that support group that's within that meeting of other families that are going through the same thing. I can go on and on. We have a 4-hour training called Working Together, which really talks about how important it is to work side by side with a family youth partner with that lived experience in order to help engage families faster within the system of care. I think it works amazingly. I always have to say this to you, Shane. You know that 48 out of 50 states have state certification for family youth partners. So it started in, I traced a family youth partner all the way back to the People's Republic of China. They were called barefoot doctors, and they would go out into the villages and get the doctors to help the people that were in those marginalized societies. And then in Latin America, the promotoras were the strong Hispanic women of the community that engaged the doctors to not only go and give the aid to the marginalized societies, but they also asked them to provide education. So they got the help that they needed, plus they got some education, which helped break those stigmas. Then it came over to the United States in the 1960s, 70s, and then so much so that the family youth partner concept spread throughout the United States, and that 48 out of 50 states have state certification for it because they really helped engage those marginalized societies, the unserved and underserved populations. And then, but they saw the recognition that these family youth partners, that lived experience really helped to help engage those families. But California and Arkansas don't have the state certification. What? What? That's what I'm talking about.
So is that why we here at NAMI and with the CYF, we are certifying people to be family youth partners?
So it's still a certification, right? It's still education, but it's not a state certification,
Okay.
right? And so that state certification, not saying it would do anything different, but it would be that recognition that we deserve,
Right.
because we really do put our heart and soul into everything that we do.
Right.
And who knows if it might make a difference in our income as well, right? Could only hope.
Right.
But, yeah.
So, which populations do you target within your program?
So we target the unserved and underserved populations. And that just means it could be anybody that doesn't have medical insurance, anybody that is marginalized and doesn't really seek the help that they need because of whatever stigmas, historical or non. But we definitely want to engage those families that think that there's no help out there that's available.
Who do you think can benefit from those services?
Everybody and everybody. So we serve all 4 sectors. We are engaged in all 4 sectors, which is families, first and foremost. And that's anybody that's involved in the children's system of care, mental health, behavioral health services. And then we help engage with the private sector. That's anybody that's contracted, maybe a provider that's contracted within the children's system of care. And that's paid for services, right? Then the public sectors, which are child welfare services, behavioral health services, all the public sectors that are available to the families, we help engage those as well so that they know what's available, what the families are going through, and hopefully make those changes as well. And then we serve on the education part of it, public education as well as special ed and the Department of Education, the boards and stuff like that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So I think
far-reaching program.
Anybody would be benefit from these services because, well, if we don't have the resource, then maybe you do, right? And so that's why we're always out there in the community trying to gather those resources. Just one more thing too,
Yeah.
the Children, Youth, Family System of Care Liaison is the point of contact for issue resolution.
Okay.
So let's say that a family might be engaging in services, but their needs aren't being met. We want to hear from that family. We're not going to do the work for them, but we're going to talk with them, guide them, and empower them to find resources that are available to them and maybe make those changes within that provider that of why their services, their needs aren't being met. We definitely want to hear those things, especially since the county's asking for it, right?
Right.
Well, let's give them.
So do we, and this is for my own benefit, hoping for other people's benefits, but how do we define a family? Is that parents with children or individuals with children that are under a certain age, or is it just any group of people that are related to one another?
Great.
Is there a definition for that?
Yeah, so NAMI San Diego is adults, and I would say 26 and older, but it could be 18 and older, right? They're adults.
Mm-hmm.
TAY, transitional age youth, go from, I want to say 15 all the way up to age 25.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be involved in the children's system of care because they're still transitional age youth. And then we serve anybody 0 to 25, I would say, because of the transitional age youth. And so that's in the thing. They have a great website. I don't know if you've ever seen it, the Children's System of Care website, because they have a provider manual on there too. And my supervisor and I, we were talking about it when we were looking for resources. We never knew this provider manual existed. Now, you can Google it, but you'll find all kinds of different years, and this one just was updated. So if you go to the Children's System, San Diego Children's System of Care website, you'll see on one of the tabs for the provider manual.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how would somebody that wants to engage with the CYFL, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah. We have a website. It's the CYF Liaison at, I want to say .namisandiego.org. You could, all of our things, we have forums and blogs, and we have a resource page that tells you everything that we're doing. So you can contact us there because there's a one number or email that 3 of us monitor.
Okay.
So we're definitely gonna, somebody's gonna answer you right away. And then, or just call NAMI San Diego hotline and helpline. And then they'll direct you to us.
Awesome. So removing the stigma for mental illness seems to be gaining in popularity. Why do you think that is?
Get on my soapbox?
Yes, please do.
So that breaking of stigma is huge. So the past stigma for mental health services, people would say, don't ask, don't tell. Your cousin over there talks to himself, but don't say anything. Don't say anything outside of this family because that's our business. But nowadays, we want to talk about it. We want that to be recognized that Johnny talks to himself because he's hearing voices. But when we use that lived experience, coming back from the family youth partner, we use that lived experience of success in our recovery. I think that it breaks those stigmas. Just like for when I said that child welfare services was involved in my life. When I mention it in any training that I do, what do you guys think when I say child welfare services? Automatically people say, you're going to take my children. That stigma is still out there. It's not true. They want to help us have our intact families to keep us intact and safe and healthy. Just like mental health services. They want us to be healthy, safe within the environment and within our families as well. So I think that the stigma breaking, I think there's so many people talking about it. I think social media has a huge play on it. I think that there's still a lot of people that are silent, but I think the word's getting out that it's okay not to be.
Awesome. What specific tools do you utilize to maintain your own personal wellness?
I know, it's crazy. I'm a karaoke queen. So when I get stressed, I just go and I belt out a couple of songs. I know, I
love that.
Right? I go and I just I have one DJ that I follow. He's my niece's cousin, but I feel safe when I'm with him because it is at a bar. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm in recovery, but It's 23 years. I don't have any, desire to drink. All I want to do is sing. And so I go and I sing a couple Motown songs, and I feel better. I also have a beautiful family. My family is everything to me. I have 4 beautiful grandchildren. I have 3 beautiful children. They're all married now, and they have amazing spouses that just completes our family. And so I really focus on that. Life couldn't be better right now, I guess.
That's great. All right, my last question is, what do you do when you're not working here at NAMI? Aside from karaoke.
I have a beautiful little puppy too, so she likes to walk a lot. I love to walk. Summer's coming. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. I am a boogie board fanatic. I'll go at boogie board. I have no shame to my game. But I love the ocean, or water in general. I'll go boogie board. I'll probably put it in my trunk soon so that I can just go straight from here. So just being active. You want to keep active because a healthy mind needs a healthy body. And I love to say this because when I was younger in middle school and I weighed 200 pounds and I thought that the only way to be happy was to be skinny, that was a lie, right? Because then I started using all those drugs to become skinny. I'm more happier now than I've ever been before, now that I'm clean and sober, because I get to see and realize and recognize all the blessings that I have.
Well, thank you for your time today, Linda, for sharing your story with me.
Thank you.
Such a powerful story. I hope you enjoyed today's wellness webinar. Here's another look at those resources one last time. If you'd like to engage with CYFL, join them on their website at cyfliaison.namisandiego.org. They have an interactive blog where they'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to take a look at any of the resources for the children, youth, and family system of care, you'll see that website right below. I won't read it to you because there's a lot of mumbo-jumbo in it. And finally, if you're ever looking for resources, you need to talk to somebody about something that's going on in particular, feel free to reach out to our anonymous peer and family support helpline. It's open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and the number is 1-800-523-5933. Thank you for joining me in today's wellness webinar, and I hope to see you in our next wellness webinar. Have a wonderful day.